Hello there, soul that's listening right now. If today you've been feeling something shifting, a strange vibration in your chest, a quiet pull that made you stop for no reason at all, know this isn't a coincidence. You were guided here, right on time, in the exact place you were meant to be. Some messages don't arrive through words, they travel through energy, and some callings aren't heard with the ears. They echo from deep within your spirit. And tonight, the universe wants to speak to you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll begin to understand why every sign, every dream, and even every quiet unease you felt lately has been leading you toward one truth, the third calling, when heaven no longer whispers. One quiet afternoons. As the sun leaned gently toward the horizon and the air carried that soft, earthy scent after rain, you heard something faint inside your heart. Not a voice, not the wind, but a tender calling. A wave of energy moved through your breath, and suddenly, your heart paused, then opened, like a flower touched by the first light of dawn. Aries, sometimes heaven doesn't send us clear dreams. It sends feelings so subtle we think we imagined them. But if you pause long enough and listen deeply, you'll realize it isn't imagination, it's a call. A call rising from the deepest part of your soul, the place where light and shadow coexist, and every question dissolves into quiet understanding. I believe every soul is chosen at least once in a lifetime. But when a soul is called 3 times, it's no longer coincidence, it's destiny. The world is shifting, and souls like yours, the ones who've wandered, who've been hurt, who've carried silence like a weight, are being given a chance to become light in the middle of humanity's chaos. This third time, heaven doesn't speak through dreams or hidden signs. It speaks through truth, through the events that awaken your heart, through the people you meet by chance, through endings that force you to look into the mirror of your own soul. Every detail, no matter how small, is a sacred fragment of the picture you are living. If you've ever asked, why am I still here? Why does this pattern keep repeating? Maybe it's because you haven't truly listened. The universe never tires of sending the same message until your heart is open enough to receive it. 3 times is no accident, it's the mark of completion, the confirmation that your spirit is ready to remember the mission it carried before you were born. Take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat sync with the rhythm of the earth and sky. Every beat is a message from God, a reminder that you are not alone. Invisible hands are holding yours. Eyes of angels follow your every step. And each time you fall, they lift you again, with the patience of love. If your heart trembles right now, if it feels like a breeze, brushing your skin, leaving behind a soft shimmer of light, don't ignore it. That's the sign. You're being called, not by the outer world, but by the deepest part of your soul. You are not abandoned, Aries. You are being awakened, reminded that you are the flame chosen to light the path that darkness has held for too long. And as you begin to see this truth, everything around you, the light, the wind, the sounds, even the silence starts to speak. A clock stops at the moment you think of someone. A number repeats on your screen. A dream stays with you for days. They are all subtle signs from the universe, whispers so soft that only a heart truly listening can hear. But once you open your heart, those signs begin to guide you deeper and deeper into the next layer of your journey. There, the world feels different. Every breath carries an intuition. Every small shift becomes heaven's language. And you finally understand when heaven has chosen you, nothing is random anymore. Only gentle signals, inviting you forward into a new realm of light, where your soul's frequency begins to rise. One quiet morning, when the first light of dawn still hesitated at your window, the world was so still you could hear your own heartbeat, the breath of the room, and something invisible, moving softly between the pauses of silence. It's not a coincidence, Aries. When your soul begins to shift its frequency, the world around you adjusts its rhythm in response. You start noticing repeating numbers on the clock. A familiar song suddenly feels new. You meet someone by chance, and your heart stirs in a way you can't explain. These small, ordinary moments are not accidents, they are the language of the universe. They don't come to frighten you, but to remind you that an unseen current is flowing quietly, yet powerfully. When your spirit rises to a higher vibration, what no longer matches that frequency begins to fall away on its own. People, habits, thoughts, all shedding like old layers of skin, so that the brighter part of you can finally be seen. Loss is not punishment, it's purification. Just as winter must release its last leaves so spring can find a way in, I know that sometimes this process leaves you feeling empty. You look around and realize that those who once walked beside you are no longer here. But believe me, that doesn't mean you've lost your way. It only means you're moving farther along your path. Your feet are stepping onto new ground, where higher, purer energy is waiting for you. The universe always uses stillness to speak of great things. It never shouts. It sends a breeze, a number, a stranger's glance on the street. And if you pause long enough, you'll hear it whisper, "You are being moved, not lost." I used to fear changes like this. I held on to things that had already served their purpose, believing that if I let go, I would be left with nothing. But then I realized when a door closes gently, it isn't an ending. It's heaven making space for something new to arrive. Aries, trust this invisible movement. You're not just living a life, you're being tuned to fit the grander melody of awakening. If someone leaves, bless them with gratitude. If something fades away, let it go peacefully. Because the emptiness you feel today is the soil where tomorrow's light will grow. These shifts you're sensing now may make your heart tremble, but they are proof that you're ready for a higher level of awareness. Watch closely the moment you begin to trust. Everything around you starts responding with grace. The light reflects differently, your breath deepens, and the same sky somehow turns a warmer shade of blue. You may not understand it all, but your soul does. It's saying, you haven't lost. You're simply being moved toward where you truly belong. Let this new energy lead you. Trust that on the other side of change, something beautiful is waiting. And when the wind stirs softly, when your heart beats a little faster for no reason, smile. That's the universe saying, yes, keep going. You're on your way home. Then something strange happens. The air around you begins to shimmer like water touched by the first ray of sunlight. A movement deep within you awakens. Not loud, not visible, but unmistakable. A trembling begins to rise from the depths of your being, ready to push you through a new doorway of awareness. It isn't destruction, it's awakening. A vibration of light preparing to open the path your heart has always known existed, you just hadn't stepped onto it until now. There are days when it feels like everything around you is cracking open. People who once felt close now seem distant. Work that once gave you meaning no longer stirs your spirit, and the things you thought were certain begin to fade, like morning mist dissolving under the sun. Aries, don't be afraid. The shaking you're feeling isn't a sign of collapse. It's the rhythm of the universe adjusting your frequency, so you can stand stronger, rise higher, and shine brighter. When a building is about to be rebuilt, the old foundation must be dug up. When a soul is about to ascend, everything misaligned must fall away. This isn't loss, it's purification. The pain you feel right now is the pain of birth, a sacred tremor preparing you to rise in a new form. I've seen many beautiful souls awaken this way. They fall into chaos, believing they've lost everything, but in truth, they're being returned to themselves. And when they rise from the ruins, there's a light in their eyes that wasn't there before, a light you can only carry after walking through nights that no one else sees. That's exactly where you are, Aries. Every crack you feel today isn't breaking you apart, it's opening a path for light to enter. Imagine a seed beneath the earth splitting open. If it doesn't break, how could it ever reach the sun? If you never trembled, how would your soul know its own strength? You may feel lonely in this transformation, but hear me. No one grows while staying the same shape. Sometimes, to be free, your heart must break a little so you can finally see that love never disappears. It simply changes form, from attachment into awakening. If your life feels unsettled, if everything familiar is dissolving, pause, breathe. Say to yourself, I'm being realigned. I'm not punished. Because only when the old structures fall away can the right ones begin to take form. Can you feel it? In the silence of night, something delicate is happening. You can't see it, you can't name it, but you know it's real, like a soft breeze brushing the curtain, carrying the breath of another world. That's the veil between heaven and earth. I'm beginning to tear, and as it does, heaven's light is no longer held back. It seeps into the smallest corners of your life, in the eyes of a stranger, in the words of a child, in the moment you go quiet and find tears falling for no reason at all. This light doesn't destroy, it heals. It illuminates the shadows you once feared, until you realize darkness was never your enemy. It was only the place where light had yet to arrive. Don't cling to what's leaving, because what falls away from you was never truly you. Let the old dissolve, for only with empty hands can you receive what's next. This is rebirth, not of the body, but of the soul, a sacred passage where every step, every breath becomes a living prayer. And when you surrender to this alignment, when you let your heart crack open without resistance, you'll see it beneath the ashes, a quiet flame beginning to rise. Let that energy carry you deeper into your journey, because just beyond this shaking, when the dust settles and the ground stills, you'll notice something, divine unfolding, a new order forming. Heaven's justice, silent for so long, is beginning to move again. A great reversal, gentle, certain, unstoppable, is already closer than you think. In every human life, there comes a moment when everything seems to pause. A single breath stretches a little longer than usual, a silence deep enough for you to hear the quiet sound of destiny shifting. Aries. That's the moment heaven begins to rewrite your story, not with ink, but with light. The years you endured in silence, the dreams you once set aside just to survive, they were never forgotten. The universe forgets nothing. Every loss, every weight, every lonely night, they were all lines written in an invisible language, a language only heaven could understand. And now, when time has ripened, those hidden words begin to glow. This is the season when divine justice rises. Not the kind measured by power or reputation, but the justice of the soul, where every seed of kindness, sown in quiet, returns as a blessing. Those once overlooked, those left behind, will now be lifted. Not for revenge, but to prove that light never dies, it only waits for the right moment to shine. You see, God has His own way of turning the world upside down. He doesn't do it with thunder, but with a breeze. Not with proclamations, but with a silence full of power. He makes the small things extraordinary, and the patient hearts become the torches that lead the way. I've seen souls like yours, those who thought they were forgotten, become the light for entire communities. They never chased fame. They simply lived honestly, loved deeply, and believed quietly. And it was their sincerity that moved heaven to open its gates. Aries. If you've ever felt late to your own life, remember this: you're not late. You arrived at heaven's perfect time. Every delay wasn't there to stop you, it was there to prepare you. A great door needs a deep foundation. A bearer of light must walk through enough darkness to learn how to protect the flame. And now, as the skies turn and the light is called back, you'll begin to see that none of those years were wasted. They were the training ground for strength, for trust, for faith in what is good. Maybe today the path still looks unclear, but look closer: the sudden opportunities, the people arriving right on time, the coincidences too precise to be random. They're not chance, they're signals. The universe is positioning you where you belong. So don't be afraid when everything begins to reverse, because in that reversal, your soul is being turned back to its true direction. Remember, divine justice is never early, but it's also never late. It waits until your heart is soft enough to understand and strong enough to hold its blessings. When the things you once lost start returning in new forms, in unexpected ways, don't ask why. Just smile, because that's heaven, rewriting your destiny with the hand of love. And then, one ordinary morning, you'll realize you've stepped into a new life without noticing. No fireworks, no grand announcement, just a quiet peace in your chest, a deep gratitude knowing you made it through, that you stood back up, and that you were chosen to bear witness to the miracle of faith and perseverance. From this moment on, everything begins to move faster. The current of destiny, once slow and still, now rushes forward like a river newly freed. Events, people, opportunities all interlacing, spinning, aligning with a precision you've never seen before. It isn't chaos, it's acceleration with purpose. Heaven's rhythm is quickening, pulling you into a new orbit where everything right arrives on time, and the dreams you thought were gone come back to life as if time itself is bowing to the strength of your faith. There are moments when time itself seems to melt between two breaths. You feel something moving softly, quietly, yet powerful enough to make your soul pause. What once felt slow and delayed now flows so fast you can't even define it. And in that instant, you understand this is no longer the rhythm of man. This is the rhythm of heaven. Aries, and maybe you've grown weary of waiting for an answer, for a miracle, for a door to open. But trust me, no waiting is ever wasted. Heaven hasn't forgotten you. It's just that everything must unfold at its divine timing, not earlier, not later, because every soul carries its own time code, and only when your energy is ready does the universe begin to move. Do you remember the last time something happened so quickly it felt unreal? A meeting, a message, a door that opened out of nowhere. That wasn't coincidence. That was heaven pressing the acceleration key. When your vibration aligns with divine intention, time itself bows. What once took years to build can now manifest in a single moon cycle. I've always believed true. Courage isn't about charging forward blindly. It's the stillness to know when to move. Those who understand heaven's rhythm never rush, but they never hesitate. They pause to listen. And when the call comes, they move instantly. Not out of fear of missing the chance, but from absolute trust that the door was meant for them. Sometimes life will start moving so fast it makes you dizzy. You'll fear you can't keep up. But remember, if heaven gives you a new rhythm, it's because you are strong enough to live in it. The divine acceleration doesn't come to exhaust you. It comes to break your old resistance, your fears, your doubts, your limits, the ones you thought you could never move beyond. Look closely. When you're ready, signs will appear everywhere. Someone offers you an opportunity at the perfect moment. A door once closed now opens quietly. A message you needed finds you through a song, a dream, a passing word from a stranger. That's how the universe says, it's time. And in that moment, what matters most isn't how prepared you are, it's whether you have the courage to say yes. I know change can be terrifying. Stepping out of the familiar feels like walking into empty space. But even there, a hand is keeping rhythm for you. When you're aligned, you'll feel a strange lightness as if a gentle wind is pushing you forward. That's the universe agreeing with your direction. Aries. Remember this. Don't slow down out of fear. Slow down to listen, and then move fast when you are called. Life will always test your faith before it rewards your trust. So when that calling rises inside your chest, act on it even if it's just a small step. Call the person you've been thinking about. Start the project you've dreamed of, or simply pray with a heart more open than it was yesterday. Every small action, when done in divine timing, carries the power of a butterfly touching the river, sending ripples all the way to heaven. And within those ripples, you'll sense something greater, a quiet, invisible help, warm and real. It doesn't speak in words. It arrives as peace, a stillness wrapping around you, like someone gently placing a hand on your shoulder, smiling and whispering, "Now is the time." Let your heart fall into that rhythm, because when you move at the right moment, doors don't just open, they open wider than you ever imagined. And beyond those doors, within the very things you thought were impossible, a light is waiting, a divine assistance moving just behind the veil, where angels begin to gather, preparing for the next chapter of your journey. Sometimes, the most sacred things happen in silence. There's no trumpet sound, no blinding light announcing it. Just an ordinary morning, you open your eyes and feel something different. The air seems lighter. Your heart feels as if someone is gently holding it, steady and safe. You can't name that feeling, but deep within, someone is helping you. Aries, when you think you're standing alone on the battlefield, you never truly are. In unseen realms, hands are already moving for you. Angels don't walk the earth, but they walk with you on every path. They clear your way, delay what doesn't belong, and open doors exactly on heaven's time. You may not hear their voices, but your soul recognizes their work through every coincidence, every small turn of fate you can't explain. I believe that when a soul has endured enough pain, it is chosen to rebuild. Not rebuild the world through power, but through faith, compassion, and quiet devotion. Because when you've known loss, you understand the value of giving. When you've felt forgotten, you learn how to see those who are unseen. Resources are shifting now, Aries. It's not by chance that you're being placed in new spaces, new roles, new connections. This is a sacred transfer of power when the universe takes from those who control through fear and entrusts those who heal through light. What you receive now isn't just for your comfort, but for your calling to become a vessel of blessing for others. I've met people who lost everything and were given more than they ever imagined. They learned that wealth is no longer a number, it's energy. Opportunity isn't luck, it's responsibility. When you receive, remember, you are not just being given, you are being entrusted. Every gift comes with a mission. If you feel yourself being lifted, don't fear it. Walk with gratitude, because the protection around you is real. Sometimes it shows up as a kind stranger, a word that calms you, or a dream that lets you wake lighter than before. That's how angels work, quietly, precisely, lovingly. They don't do the work for you. They create the conditions for you to see clearly and choose well. And if you're being given more visibility, more responsibility, remember this: light only grows stronger when it's shared. Don't let fear make you hide. The truth is, the more you give, the more you have, not in possessions, but in peace. Think about what you can do from here. A forgiveness you've held back, a hand you could reach out, a dream, a project, or simply a meal shared with someone who needs it. Every act of love vibrates on heaven's frequency. And in that vibration, invisible help finds its way to you naturally, gracefully, divinely. In the coming days, as the light around you becomes clearer, let gratitude be your key. Thank what's gone because it made space for what's new. Thank what's arriving because it carries heaven's justice. And thank the angels near you, those who never appear to be seen, but are always there to protect you in silence. Now that you feel this light expanding, let it touch others through you. Because sometimes one flame is enough to make darkness retreat, and in that very moment, you begin to shine outward. The world around you shifts as if humanity itself is awakening, each loving heart becoming a small beam of dawn, opening the path for the next sunrise. There are moments in life when the world suddenly falls silent. No noise, no argument, just the soft breathing of the universe slipping through the cracks in your soul. You look up at the sky, and the light is. It's different, clearer, closer, as if it's looking through you. Aries, this is the moment of awakening. Not loud, not grand, but deep, absolute, and sacred. There's an invisible wave passing through humanity now. It doesn't bring storms, it brings electricity of the soul. It's the current that makes people want to live with more kindness, to love more deeply, to listen instead of fight. It's the wave of light. When it touches you, you don't need to try to become anyone. You only need to return to the pure self who once loved without condition, who once believed in the simple beauty of being alive. Awakening isn't always a radiant moment. It often begins with pain, with the realization that what you've been clinging to was never real. That power, fame, and possessions can never fill the space inside your heart. And when you reach that limit, light begins to seep in slowly, softly, like morning mist, but powerful enough to rearrange the architecture of your soul. Can you feel it, Aries? Something is shifting inside you, a subtle vibration, a stirring as if someone is awakening the part of your heart that's been asleep. Those who see are rising now, not as saints or prophets, but as ordinary people who have known pain, fallen, and still choose kindness as their guiding flame. They don't preach, they live, they smile, they listen. They hold another's pain with gentle eyes, and in that quiet presence, a prayer is spoken without words. Because light never needs to fight darkness, it only needs to spread. And you, Aries, are part of that light. The world needs souls like yours, those who dare to look within, who choose compassion over anger, who can stand inside the storm and still pray for the ones who hurt them. Because when one heart becomes still, the world around it begins to shift. When one heart shines, the darkness retreats. I want you to know this truth. You're not just the one who hears the message, you are the message. Every step you take, every word you speak, every choice you make is how the universe speaks to the world. When you love, the universe loves with you. When you forgive, the planet itself exhales. If right now your heart feels warm, that's the sign you're connecting to the source of light. Let yourself dissolve into it. Don't resist. Don't doubt. Light doesn't come to change who you are. It comes to help you remember who you've always been. Write this affirmation as a vow to your soul. I carry the light. Say it softly but truthfully, for the universe listens not to volume but to the frequency of the heart. And when you surrender into that truth, something miraculous happens. A door opens not outside you but within, not to another world but to the brightest part of yourself. From that place, the light begins to flow through every cell, every memory, every corner of your being once sealed by fear. You realize you're not living only for yourself anymore. You are carrying a mission, the mission of one who was chosen to ignite. And in the very moment you accept this truth, new layers of light unfold. As if the sky itself opens wider, to activate a new era within your soul. A moment of stillness fills the air. No more noise, no more unanswered questions. Only your breath, slow, deep, unmistakably real. And within that breath, Aries, what do you hear? A heartbeat steady as the drum of the earth, or perhaps the whisper of heaven calling you to rise, not to prove anything, but to become yourself. This is your hour, not the hour of competition, not the hour of victory, but the hour of radiance. A kind of light only your soul knows how to create. Every fall, every long night, every tear that once felt meaningless was never wasted. They were all sacred initiations, fire tests that refined you, shaping your spirit into something clearer, gentler, truer. No suffering is ever wasted when it opens a heart. Look back, Aries. You've come farther than you realize. The wounds you thought would end, you have become doorways for the light to enter. You were never asked to be perfect to be called chosen. You were only asked to be real. Because in this world, authenticity is the rarest light of all. The angels have gone ahead of you. You may not see them, but you'll feel them in the sudden quieting of fear, in the peace that arrives without reason, in the way things somehow fall into harmony the moment you stop forcing them. That's how you know you're being guided. The universe is keeping rhythm for your every step. Trust that rhythm. It exists to carry you to the right place, at the right time, to the right souls. You, Aries, are the flame at the dawn of a new awakening. Your light was never meant to outshine others, but to help them find their own. When you know you are light, the world finds its way home. Your mission is not to speak louder, but to live deeper. Your strength isn't in the roar, but in the silence that radiates from unwavering faith. And if you've ever asked, "Am I strong enough to change the world?" Remember this: you were never asked to change the world. You were asked to change your frequency. When one lamp is lit, darkness retreats, and when a million lamps like yours ignite, the world transforms. Now, place your hand over your heart. Feel that warmth? That's the pulse of life itself, proof that you were never forgotten, not even for a second. Every heartbeat is a prayer. Every breath is a song between heaven and earth. Whisper softly, "I accept my activation." Say it not to the world, but to your own soul so it knows you're ready. And if, in that moment, you hear a faint tone like a distant bell, that's your sign. You've been awakened. Write, gently, "I will shine light upon," and name where your light will go. Whether it's a person, a city, or a quiet corner of someone's heart, begin there. Light always finds its way forward. Thank you for believing, for listening, for allowing your soul to resonate with the final truth. This world is brighter because you're here now, in this breath, in this moment. May gentle peace surround your Aries flame, and may your light continue to move outward quietly, faithfully guiding the lost home.